Hey guys, what's up? Plastic Guy here, coming back with another figure review, and today we're taking a look at this Hush Superman action figure from McFarlane Toys. McFarlane have been releasing Superman figures left, right and centre at the moment, and I do feel like it has been a pretty mixed bag. A couple really good looking ones and a couple of really goofy looking ones, but Superman is such a classic hero. He's always going to be welcomed into the collection, great to pose around and great to photograph. And I had this idea for a set of photos that I really wanted to post to my Instagram, and I came across this Superman on eBay and I thought he looked really cool. I did think he looked like one of the better Superman figures that I've seen recently, and so I picked him up and I've been posing him around the last couple of weeks. I did take those photos that I wanted to, and I'll post them to my Instagram sometime soon. I'll leave the link in the description below, so it would be awesome if you could check that out. But yeah, we've got Superman here, and I definitely wanted to take a closer look at him here on the channel. So let's not wait any longer. Let me know what you guys think of this figure down in the comment section below, and let's check this guy out. So let's do what we always do and take a closer look at the packaging that the figure comes in. It is just the same standard box that we've been getting time and time again from McFarlane. We do have an 85 with the Superman logo in front of it a couple times here on the box, but I would quite like to see a bit of a mix up with McFarlane's packaging in the next year or so. We've been getting these boxes for what seems like forever now, and it would be pretty interesting to see some different packaging. But I also get that you might want to keep it the same, you might want to continue collecting the DC Multiverse figures and have them all in the same packaging. I do get the appeal of that, but I don't know, I'm just getting a bit bored of this. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I mean, it is fine, it doesn't need to be changed, it is a good standard box, but we've seen a couple of different packaging moves from like Revoltech, Marvel Legends. It'd be cool to get a different box from McFarlane. And then inside the box we get the trading card, which I still think is a nice touch. You know, you're building your collection of figures, you'll get your collection of cards. Hit that pause button if you want to read the write up there. And then yeah, the artwork on the front of the card is the same as the back of the box, but yeah, pretty cool. I do like the trading cards with these McFarlane figures. And we also get a flight stand, which of course makes sense if it is Superman. I like the flight stands, I like how we get them, but I'll be honest, they aren't any better than the kind of generic flight stands you can pick up on Amazon and eBay, and I definitely prefer these ones. You can get a lot more height on them and they are a lot more movable, so I do appreciate it, but I feel like we do need to maybe get a bit of an upgrade going with the McFarlane stands, because they're easily beaten with these generic ones. The figure also comes with some interchangeable hands. We've got two fisted hands ported on at the moment, and then you get these two flat, perhaps flight hands, and they're really nicely sculpted, swap over really easily. I'm glad we get some interchangeable parts with this McFarlane figure. And then we get the figure itself, and taking a look at him from afar, having him in this vanilla pose, I think he looks great. I love the colours here, very bold, they stand out. The red, the yellow, the blue, they all work really well, and the sculpt I think looks excellent. It's bulky, he looks big. I really like this thing. Taking a closer look, we'll start with the head sculpt. And as I mentioned earlier, McFarlane are releasing a lot of different Superman figures at the moment, and I feel like the head sculpts are what is making or breaking the purchases here. I mean, the 2-pack they just revealed, oh my god man, a lot of folk were making the comparison to Human Shrek, and no wonder, that thing just looks so goofy. You've also got like the Action Comics Superman, which is better, and I was actually really thinking about picking that figure up. I really like the idea of the first appearance Superman, the costume looks really good. But with this Hush Superman here, I feel like the head sculpt, not only does it look like Superman from that Hush storyline, it could also work as just a standard Superman, you know. This could be your generic go-to Superman on the shelf, whereas the likes of the Action Comics one is a lot more stylized. You know, sometimes it looks cool and it works, but then sometimes when I look at it, I don't know, it's a bit wrinkly, a bit goofy looking, and yeah, it's stylized to that first appearance the same way this one is stylized for Hush, but as I mentioned, this one could also just work as a generic Superman. I love the expression on this guy's face, I love the hair sculpt here. It all comes together really nicely. Yeah, this thing looks great all over, but there is a big downfall, a big shortcoming, and I feel like I say the same thing with every McFarlane figure. For the most part, the figure's great, I'm really happy with it, but there's always just one thing that brings the whole piece down, and you might already be able to tell what it is with this Superman figure. In my opinion, this guy's skin tone is just totally off, man. Like, he is grey. It looks like he's just been sick, he's had the fright of his life, he's been in hospital all year, guy's chronically ill, about to fight Lex Luthor. I mean, he is grey. It is so weird. I do not get why they've went for this skin tone. I mean, you could maybe argue, like, in the storyline, obviously, he gets under Poison Ivy's mind control and he's unwell, but we already have a figure for that. We already have Superman being mind controlled by Poison Ivy, where, yeah, make him grey, but this is the standard classic Superman release. This is the normal Superman. Why they've went for this awful skin tone, I have no idea, but it really sets the figure back. I mean, once you notice it, it's hard to unsee. As I said, I wanted to pick this guy up for a set of photos where he's fighting another big superhero, and he just looks ill. He looks like he's got the cold, man, and it is a bit annoying. For a quick comparison, here is our first kind of standard release Superman from McFarlane, and you can see how much warmer that skin tone is. It looks so much more normal, especially when you put them side by side. This guy is white. He looks sick, you know, and not in a good way. I say sick quite a lot. I mean, he looks literally sick. It looks like he should be in bed with a coffee. Yeah, it's annoying, especially because they've added bits of paint here and there, like, that is a lot more natural looking. Like, if his skin was all that colour you see on his nose and his forehead, I feel like it would actually look a bit better. But yeah, they've went for this really dull grey tone, and it brings the figure right down. Aside the skin tone though, yeah, this thing is fire, man. I really do like it. As I said, the sculpt in the face, the expression and everything is spot on. The body looks fantastic. He looks bulky, he looks strong. It looks like he could lift buildings. And the cape is excellent. You know, looking at him from the front, it looks really good. And from the back, it is so nice. The big Superman logo here and the way it just sculpts down the way. Once again, bringing the first standard release in. It's a totally different cape. There's no logo in the standard release. It flows nicely, but yeah, I'm definitely a bigger fan of this one here. I do really like that. I love the yellow belt, the red pants. I love the sculpting in the ab area that mimics the fabric. You get it in the leg a wee bit here and there. I'd actually maybe like to see more of that, because I do think it's such a nice touch. And when you're photographing this figure, it's stuff like that that just makes it look so good, especially for a £20 figure, you know. So yeah, overall, this thing looks the part. It looks like a really strong Superman figure, especially if you're on a budget. You know, this thing in your collection for £20, can't beat it. But the skin tone, man, yeah, it's disappointing. I really hope going forward we maybe see a re-release of this figure at some point, maybe with a slightly different expression. I've seen a lot of folk wanting a smiling Superman. I would be happy to see that on this sculpt with a lot more of a warmer skin tone. And yeah, let's compare this guy to some of the other figures kicking about. So first up, we've got our new McFarlane Hush Superman. Next to the first Superman figure that McFarlane released, or the first kind of standard Superman figure anyway that I know of. And we can see some major differences going on here. As I showed off, the capes are completely different. But also going to like the logo here is much bigger, going right out to his armpits, and it's a lot shinier. The blue on this figure as well is a lot darker. Of course, we've got a more normal skin tone in the first release as well. And this one does seem a bit more slender and smaller. Hush Superman, a lot bigger, a lot bulkier. The logo just kind of fits on the chest a wee bit more, and it is a lot more matte. And we've got the brighter blue and the grey skin tone. Putting these side by side, I definitely do prefer this Hush Superman. I do think it looks so damn good, especially with the bigger, bulkier sculpt and that logo sitting more centre on the chest. Both of these are really good. It's such a shame that this one has such a flat grey skin tone, but I do still prefer it over this initial release. This figure right here is pretty much getting a re-release in a 2-pack with some slightly different colours going on, but yeah, if you want to pick up the Hush, I'd go for that now, and definitely wouldn't splash the cash for this one on the aftermarket, because I have seen this figure going for around £40 and up, and that is crazy, man. Personally, I would never spend that on any of McFarlane's figures, and that sounds a bit harsh, but these retail at £20 and they are great for a £20 figure, but £40 for a McFarlane figure is crazy, and I have seen this first Superman reaching those prices. I would go for the Hush one personally, especially at that retail price, and as I mentioned, this guy's getting re-released in a 2-pack, so keep your eyes out for that if you are looking for this more standard look here. And then to bring in another couple of McFarlane figures that I've got lying around loose, we've got the Arkham Asylum Batman, which is a great figure, and the Flashpoint Flash, which, going back to McFarlane always having one thing that ruins the figure for me, I did a review on this thing showing this off, but yeah, that just is still so soul destroying. But Superman fits in really well here. I mean, there is no consistency. Arkham Asylum video game figure and the comic Flashpoint Flash figure, but still all next to one another. These guys look great. And then for another quick Superman comparison, we have our new McFarlane Toys Hush Superman next to the Mattel DC Universe Classic Superman. And so there we have it for our new McFarlane Toys Hush Superman action figure, and I do really like this thing. At the moment, this is my go-to Superman figure. He looks so damn buff and gnarly. He looks like he could conquer any other figure in the collection, and that's what you want from a Superman figure. Superman is so overpowered that, you know, he could stomp out anyone, and this is what that figure captures. For me anyway, I think this looks great. The sculpt, the colours of the costume are absolutely on point. The head sculpt looks great, especially compared to some of the other recent McFarlane Superman figures. But yeah, the flesh tone is absolute crap, man. It's such a letdown, and it does let this figure down quite a bit. I'm actually fairly gutted about it, because the rest of the figure has me feeling really hyped, and I've had a lot of fun posing this around, but as I said, it is hard to ignore that ill looking skin tone. So yeah, going forward, I definitely want to see a sort of re-release of this figure, just with a warmer skin tone. Maybe, as I mentioned, a slightly different facial expression, and this thing would be top notch, especially for that £20 price mark. I'd also love to see some live action Superman figures from McFarlane. I kept saying the same thing about Batman and all the McFarlane Batman figure reviews that I did, and now we have that 6-pack, the absolute collector's dream. We got Clooney, we got Keaton, we got Bale, Affleck, Pattinson, and we're getting the Batman and Robin wave. I want to see Superman get the same treatment. I want a Christopher Reeve Superman, I want a Brandon Routh Superman. Judging by this figure and the movie figures they've done for Batman, they would absolutely nail it, and surely a Christopher Reeve Superman would sell out. I really want a Superman Returns Brandon Routh though, that would be awesome. So that's what I want to see from McFarlane going forward, some live action movie Superman figures. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. While you're down there, guys, if you could do me a massive favour, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, then please hit that subscribe button, and as I said earlier, I'll leave the link to my Instagram down in the description below. I took quite a lot of photos of this Superman figure with a couple of other figures, and I'm really happy with how they turned out, so I'll definitely be posting them up sometime soon. It'd mean a lot if you could check that out, and guys, it means a lot that you've checked this video out right here, so thanks so much for watching, and as always, I'll catch yous on the flip-flop later. Cheers.